Welcome back to the Wisdom Lifestyle Money Show. I'm your host, Scott Dillingham. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about a ton of the investor resources that we have available to every single investor. People, just because we have so much, people don't understand. And when we start talking to clients and just different investors and things like that, they're absolutely shocked as to all the things that we have. So first, obviously we have this podcast. We also have, it's called a Close More Deals podcast. So this is a podcast where we specifically touch on all the different special lending programs. It is a mixture of residential and commercial, and it does include some owner-occupied stuff. Its primary target is a realtor. However, we set it up so as an investor or a homeowner, you can listen to it and find out ways to get approved for future transactions. So that is available, but obviously if you're listening to this and you are a realtor, you're going to want to check that out. Okay, so it's called the Close More Deals podcast. Then I encourage you to visit our website. So this is a massive resource for you. So I've got it up here on the screen. So pretty much the cool thing, what I really like about it, it's neat, it's fast, it's designed for, accessibility. So if there's any type of visual handicap, that type of stuff, the site is designed for that. So it's really useful and user-friendly. But if you go, really, there's a couple things, right? So if you go under the expertise tab, that's where you're going to see all the things that we are really, really good at, as well as details about them if you click into them. So obviously, I think that's important because if you're trying to acquire financing, you want to buy these special properties, whether it's US, Mexico, or Canada, right? You want to know what's out there. So this kind of gives you that. But really, we were talking about resources, right? And how this site helps you. So currently, there's over 130 blog articles, which are heavily structured. Everything's investor focused on the site, and you can find things about everything. Now, we have just completed, so this is the end of January, we have just completed a whole ton of different markets across Canada, and we are going to be publishing those articles. Are scheduled, but we've done a lot of research on them, market stats, rental income, vacancy rates, like all this good stuff, investment strategies that investors are doing in those locations. Okay, so you're going to want to look for that. But even without the locations, within the blog section there's all kinds of stuff. The way that we designed it was so it's super user friendly. So say you wanted to flip, right? When you go to it, you'll see there you can search, right? So it has, and that's the other thing too, is we built in the search. So you can search whatever you want. So, right, if you want to search for flipping, you can search for flipping. But what we did was we built AI into the search behind the scenes. So when you're searching for something, like say you're searching for BRRRR, right? Buy, renovate, refinance, and repeat, it will show you articles about refinancing and things like that after renovation. So it's not just literally looking for the term BRRRR and showing you those search results. It's actually searching and finding the meaning of what you're searching and finding those results for you. So I think that is fantastic. But then again, it does have sort of like an alphabet when you go to it, like A to Z, and you can click, right? So say you want D. I'm just doing it live here. I click D, it shows me DSCR, deal finding, development financing, distressed properties, documentation, down payment, due diligence, right? Duplex. So it really breaks it down into the categories that are important to you. Now, let's say that you click one, right? There's one that you like and you click it. Within it, right, we have done our very best to make this detailed. These are not generic blog articles. I see so many people just using AI and writing basic stuff. Like we actually try to deep dive into the topic. So there's actually something for you to learn from it. Okay, so I think that's important. We've made it a point that every article has a frequently asked questions. And these are the top questions that we've been asked about this topic. as well as what people are searching online for. So we've done a mixture of that. So lots of answers to your questions that you may have as an investor. Then as you scroll down even further, it'll have key terms. So it actually has kind of like a glossary. And so like the key terms of that specific article, if you don't understand it or you don't get what that term is, it'll actually be the definition at the bottom of the page. So you just highlight that term and like a dictionary sort of pops up and it tells you what it is. And then obviously we've got a glossary page. So under the glossary page, which is fantastic as well, that's part of the resources here. Say you're looking up a specific term, like say bankruptcy, right? Say that's something that you're going through. Well, under bankruptcy, it'll list all the articles that are related in talking about it so you can learn more about it. Now, obviously, bankruptcy is not something we want to do, but it is part of some investors' journeys, right? So we wanted to give them education on that and how to make it as painless as possible so you can get back into the game if you're interested, of course. So that's there. And then at the end of every article, it does show you related articles again. So we've infused AI here as well. So it'll actually show you relevant instead of random. So most websites, it's like if the articles are all under one category, so it could be mortgage financing, right? It'll show you those related. The way we set this up is it actually is so like if you're eager to learn more about a topic, you literally have all the resources there to find out more. So super, super cool stuff. Another thing that what we've got on there, right, is so we actually have an investor resources tab and page. So within the page, you can see the different podcasts. And then there is our email like newsletter. It's our weekly investor insight, we call it, where we share some best tips, updated programs and different lending opportunities. We are working on finalizing and sharing off-market deals. We have developers on our team and we're developing properties ourselves. So if there's any great properties or things, like there's an awesome deal that maybe a client, maybe they lack the down payment or maybe they lack the experience, right? If it's a bigger property or project. But if the numbers worked really well and on our end, right, we can't tell you what a good investment is or say, hey, buy this, it has X return. But what we can tell you is this project qualifies for maximum financing, which that is what is super important to you. Because if it qualifies for maximum financing, that means the banks and the lenders were very happy with the numbers, right? So if they're happy with the numbers, generally speaking, it's a good deal. So all of that is all built in there for you under the Investor Resources tab. And then I think the most recent, my most exciting update right now. And I'm going to say it's maybe beta stage. It's good. It works well, but there's a few little tweaks that we want to make before we launch it everywhere. But I'm going to talk about it here because you guys, regularly listen and I just, I want you to know, but we have the CMHC MLI Select or MLI Standard Max Loan Calculator built into there. So what is super cool about this is you start off, right, and it does ask you your details because it's going to email you the results, okay? So you can print it, you can show it to your realtor. I think this is very valuable. I've helped clients get a lower purchase price when they're buying multifamily buildings when I can show that the sales price doesn't support it, right? There's going to be a large down payment because it's got weak cash flow. So that has helped my buyers get lower purchasing price. So it's fantastic for that if the deal is not great, but you still want to move forward with it. But how it works is, right, you start off, just put your basic details. I think it's just name and email. It does have a phone number spot there, but it's optional. You could just put name and email. Then you put in the property details, right? Are you applying for the standard MLI program or the MLI Select program? It asks you a couple more questions like property location, right? Then from there, what it does is it has a spot for you to upload any documents that you have pertaining to this deal, right? So ideally you want an appraisal, because appraisals will list a whole bunch of income and expenses for the property in there. But if you don't have that, right, and you want to just, you've got a rent roll, maybe separate from a tax bill, separate from utility bills, right? You can upload them all separately into this, and AI will analyze it, and then it will let you know, ballpark what your max loan approval is. Obviously, it's fully subject to the lender's final approval, but it gives you a guideline. That's how I've created this tool to be like, is it gives you a guideline so you can tell if this is a strong performing property you're interested in buying or not. So the MLI program is available for 5 or more units. Generally, it's $1 million or above. I can't find a lender. Like, the calculator will probably calculate, and you know what? That's something that we can change, because right now I think it would calculate the max that any property could qualify for. But we are going to add those minimums in there, because lenders, they're not going to want to get out of bed. Like, most lenders are 3 million and above for CMHC. Now, obviously, we have lenders that are smaller, but there's not a lot of them, right? And who knows how long they're going to want to keep rates low. We don't know. So that's why I'm saying it's in beta. There's a few little tweaks there, but for the most part, I'm going to say it's pretty good, rock solid, ready to go. So that is available for you. Some things to look for. We are going to be working on a conventional calculator. That one's a little bit harder because there's all these different asset classes, right? There could be Airbnb, could be a mixed use property, could be industrial, office building. Do you know what I mean? Gas station, laundromat, and they all have different rules. So that's why the conventional one's a lot harder, where the CMHC was like, it's just multifamily. Here it is, right? We fed it the data that's needed and hired developers, and it was a big process, but it's there, and I think it's going to be a huge value add for you as an investor. Also, throughout the site, it does allow you to have quick and easy access to the team. So as you go through it, if there's an article or something that you like, you can hit book a call. It'll open up a separate menu where you could choose the expert on my team that you want based on category or niche that you're looking for. And then you can book a call with them. You can reach out to us right away too, if it's business hours. But I really like the book a call feature. It's complimentary. There's no fees to tap into the team. We're all here to help. We're all investors ready to go. So it's got all these things. It's got the light and dark modes. So, if you prefer dark mode on your eyes, or it's late at night, right? It's got that built in. So it's really intuitive. Like, we've really tried to think of everything. It's been a huge project that's went on for many months. We have more articles scheduled to come out. We have more tools we're working with the developers to build. We are working on cash flow calculators. We're working on having property values. So you could search, your property and get an estimate of the value and see if it makes sense to refinance and that type of thing. It's a lot easier building that out on the US side. They just have a lot more data. The people in Canada that have the data, they want to charge an extremely large amount to access it. So we're just trying to figure out how to make this work for everybody. But ultimately, that is like where we're going with this. So it totally is an investor resource. LendCity.ca. Go there, bookmark it, use it. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at all the data and details that we have in there. So check it out. Let me know how it is. And of course, if there's a feature or function or just something that you are missing as an investor, right? Some type of tool or resource that would be important and valuable to you, let us know. We want to hear from you, and we want to help make your journey as successful as possible. So thanks so much for tuning in today. I know this was a bit different of a style than what we normally do, but these are amazing resources that are available, and I wanted to make it known to everybody. So thank you so much, and have a great day.